as good as I can possibly get it. So just to compare to that, I then went and bought an audio cable, a similar one, from a electronics store. They have a chain of stores. I'm not going to say the name again because I'm not being paid by them, so I'm not going to mention their name. And I bought, I think it was about £10–12 this cable, and it was perfect. I mean, the sound is fantastic from it. It sounds, the bass sounds better. It's just a much better sound from it. It's a shorter cable as well. I didn't get the same length for that money. I probably would have paid a lot more if I wanted 7 or 8 meters, but yeah, it's a much better sound. And it's the same with video cables as well. If you use SCART, if you go and buy a SCART from the pound shop, it'll probably be adequate. You'll get a picture out of it, but you'll probably, if you took a reasonably priced cable, a more expensive SCART cable, and had a setup next to it with that, and then had another one next to it with the pound cables, you'd probably be able to see the difference. A lot of the sort of more expensive cables they've got stuff like oxygen free, they've got gold plating on, all that stuff, and it does add up to make a much better cable. The only thing I will say is that with video and audio cables, it's a bit of a scam. Sometimes you'll pay for a name. I'm not going to mention any names, but there are some that you'll pay things like £50 for a SCART cable, and you're basically paying more for the name than anything. So you can see, well, look, I've got a THX approved cable. Wow, that's fantastic. And if you've got money to go and spend like that, then fine. But I don't believe in spending vast amounts of money just for a name. I think it's a rip-off. So in the case of SCART cables, as an example, I bought a gold-plated oxygen-free cable that was recommended to me by another website that I was looking at when I was looking into improving the cabling on my TV. And this cable was on a special offer on a website that normally does DVDs, but they also do electronics, and this was on a special offer for £10. So I thought I'll try one of those cables, and yeah, the difference between that and my old cables, which were just stuff that came with the DVD player, the VCR, whatever, the difference was, it was amazing. The picture was just so much sharper, the colour, there was no bleed, there was no interference across the picture. Like sometimes if you get a certain colour in a certain scene, you can see sort of a slight pattern moving across it. Well, there wasn't any of that now. That was all gone. And this is a cable that was £10. Okay. Now, if you're going to spend 50 quid on a cable, I can't really see how it could have been much better than the cable I spent £10 on. I mean, it's just literally, you could see the difference. But I'm sure, if you've got like a massive plasma TV, 50-inch plasma or something like that, then yeah, maybe, if you've got the money to spend on a TV like that, then maybe, yeah, £50 on the cable is quite reasonable to you, and maybe, yeah, you can see the difference on a picture that big. But I think, for most people, I think these £10 SCART cables are just, perfectly fine. But I mean, going back to the original point, if it is just a case of you want a picture, you've got quite a small TV, and just a cheap DVD player, and you just think, well, I don't care about how having a picture, sort of absolutely wonderful and like surround sound and stuff like that. Then yeah, I guess really cheap £1 cables are fine. But it's just something to keep in mind, and also it could be a bit of a false economy as well, because you may buy these cables £1 each, and sort of further down the line you may think, well, I'm spending a lot of time looking at this and listening to this. Now I want something that's a bit better, in which case then you'll go out and then you'll buy the more expensive cables. So you might want to sort of keep that in mind. But yeah, generally, I mean, you can get stuff like blank CDs, blank DVDs, They used to have black mini discs, but I don't think people really use mini discs anymore, do they? Just yeah, I mean, oh, another thing as well is if you like DVDs, a lot of these shops now have DVDs, sort of end-of-line stuff, maybe stuff that hasn't sold very well. So it's always quite a good place to go and have a look and see what you can turn up. And it's surprising actually what you can turn up in there sometimes. I mean, I got quite recently a film on DVD that you know, if you went sort of elsewhere in town, you'd probably pay £5 or £6 for it, and I got it for £1, so that's quite good. And also as well, they tend to have, because people obviously now, you know, people want DVDs, they don't really want VHS videotapes anymore. But of course, one of the things is that, you know, VHS has been out there for 20 odd years now. There's just so much stuff been brought out on VHS, and you know, DVD. There's a lot of stuff out there on DVD, but there's still things that you know you just can't find on DVD yet. And whether it will be out on DVD or whether it in the future be out on some other format, high definition, Blu-ray, whatever, you just don't know. So they're good places to have a look, and you can turn up videotapes, because these have obviously gone to them because no one wants, you know, the shops don't really want VHS tapes anymore, so they've got like huge stocks of stuff. And is just another example. The pound shop that's near where I live have suddenly got loads of old anime videos, which I quite like anime. Yeah, I mean, you've got one here. That was £1. I'm not sure if this one's actually out on DVD. I know some of these have been re-released on DVD, but I don't remember actually seeing the episodes that are on this tape. So whether it's just some of them have been released on DVD, I don't know. But I mean, you know, it's £1 for something to watch for however long it is. I mean, again, here's another one. That was £1 as well, and these are brand new. They're not second-hand. They're still sealed when you get them. And it's just something to keep in mind. I'm not saying, you know, rush down to your shop now and grab them. If you're someone who likes retro games, you know, you like sort of stuff for Sega, the old Sega consoles, or Nintendo or whatever, that's also a good place to find a lot of the old stuff, because again, it's like, you know, if someone's got some old stock, they can't get rid of it. It tends to go to those shops and they'll sell it. At the moment, the shop near where I live has loads of old Game Gear games. When I say old Game Gear games, they're not, they're actually new, they're all sealed. So obviously some warehouse somewhere's found these and has sold them to this shop. But I mean, there's been other stuff as well, old PC games, Nintendo games, PlayStation games. Quite a lot of PlayStation stuff still turns up. If you need a PlayStation controller, a reasonably decent one, there seems to be lots of them about now. I've had a controller from there. Just that, you know, it doesn't have the rumble. I don't know what you call it, but you know, when it shakes when you're playing the game, it doesn't have that in. But you know, it's just a controller. It's, you know, it's a controller for £1. Which is great, you know, if you've got like a friend coming over or something like that and you want to both be able to play on the PlayStation or whatever, you can go and get a controller for £1. I think that's just about everything, but I mean, it's just something to keep in mind, you know, next time you think, oh, I need to get a new cable, or I need to get some sort of accessory for my computer or my TV, or you know, my setup somewhere. It's just worth keeping in mind. I'm not saying, you know, go and buy all your stuff from the pound shop. But, you know, don't sort of dismiss it either. I mean, in the case of something like the USB hub, I mean, it's either something that either works or it doesn't. So why go and spend £10 on something when you can just save £9 and, you know, get it for £1, and it just works just as well.